Stop the presses, we got some iRacing NASCAR drama. Two things happened over the weekend that I thought would bring up some good discussions about how certain things are handled in the iRacing community. Now you might see both things portrayed in a negative light to a degree, or at least it looks really stupid, so you might be asking, why do you only cover bad news and not good news? Well, good news in iRacing is usually business as usual. It keeps chugging along. I'm pretty happy with iRacing right now. I think the majority of the community would say the same thing, but the last time I covered a really cool news story about iRacing, worst performing video in the last 12 months, so it's your fault. But at the end of the day, it's not that deep. This is all entertainment, and I hope you guys treat it as such as well. The eNASCAR College Series is a league where students can compete for a combined $60,000 in scholarship prize money. And this is only open for college students, so of course, I'm not eligible for it, and of course, it started the year after I graduated. But beyond being salty about that, it is a very cool opportunity for people to earn money, especially for their education, by playing iRacing, and it's usually a very stacked event with high-level drivers and pros throughout the field. But how do you qualify for a race? You do it through a public time attack, so anybody can sign up and try to qualify for the race. And race 1 for the season is always at Daytona. Daytona is one of the stupidest places to run a time attack at because everything is just so minuscule in terms of time difference, and it just requires so much grinding and stupid tricks to get it to the top of the leaderboard, to make the top 40, to make the race. And even though previous years were very stupid, this year's got a whole lot stupider. Now usually the tricks just involved the methods that I talked about in my Super Speedway qualifying video, mixed with a couple people using the grass to cool down their tires. This year though, people broke it even further, starting with eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series driver Wyatt Tinsley, who found this trick, or was at least among the group who did, and decided to share the trick with everybody to make it an even playing field. That sounds like good news, but the bad news is just how stupid and time consuming the trick is. They found that you can save up to a 0.5 of a second, which is a massive amount on a super speedway, by running out the entire session for time attack. And how long is that session? About 2.5 hours. The full method is that you run full out, just riding around for around 120 to 150 laps. And then at that point, you start doing the tire cooling methods. To cool your tires, all you have to do is slow down to anywhere above 100 miles an hour so that you don't get black flagged, but probably around 120 miles an hour, and then cool your tires down for 1 to 3 laps at a time, and then build your speed back up again with your now cooler tires to run your hot lap. Even though cars do not run out of fuel in time attack, something about the way that the car interacts with the game physics means that the longer that you run, even in time attack, the more that your rears raise, which should increase your speed. In my opinion, I thought, doesn't this raise your rear spoiler? But apparently it has more to do with the tire pressure and having more engagement with the track. Regardless though, my friend Caleb showed me some of his telemetry comparing his best laps without this trick with the best lap with his trick, and you can see a clear difference in speed with not even having to think about it. Here's Caleb's 120 lap telemetry where he got his fastest lap on lap 81, which seems to be, thankfully, a little bit earlier than what Wyatt was implying, but it can be further optimized by taking it the whole way. So for anybody wanting to qualify for the College Series race, make sure to set aside at least an hour, if not 2-3 hours, and get that one perfect lap in, and you better not mess up. But what can iRacing do to fix this for the future? I think that while you can say fix the physics or time attack session in general so that this can't happen, I think that time attack for super speedways is just not a viable way to set the field in the first place. Maybe if they could time attack it up to a couple hundred people and then have qualifying races, that would be better, but that would take more organization. So I can see why they don't do it, but there's got to be a better way to qualify for a money-paying race than a time attack on a super speedway. But if you still want to qualify for the College Series Daytona race, you got 2 days to do it, and by the looks of it, every single person who's currently in a qualifying position for it has done at least 100 laps. Most people more than 200, and up to 1,000 by some people. It's just absolutely insane. Good luck to you all. I'm glad I'm not in college anymore. This next thing I'm going to cover is simultaneously more serious and less serious than the last thing we talked about, and it's going to be on the subject of protests, and boy, you know how much I love protests. If you're new to this channel, my stance on protests is pretty much I just protest intentional wrecking, and that's about it. I know that iRacing has a massive sporting code, and guess what? I've read it all 10 times out loud, but for me personally, if it's not affecting the actual racing, I leave it be, and that especially goes with voice chat. I do, however, respect the rules that iRacing has in their sporting code for voice chat, so you'll never see me doing anything like cursing or targeting anybody or insulting anybody. Well, actually, I can think of one time. You're so trash! But recently, a lot of iRacing top split oval drivers have been seeing voice chat protests go through and process and given suspensions, voice chat bans, you name it, for seemingly not that crazy things that they said. And pretty much all of those protests are coming from a single iRacing member. A member that I won't name even though a lot of people already know it, because I don't believe in ganging up and targeting and harassing people just for random online stuff. And you would say, who in the iRacing community would even do that? So again, it's not that serious, it's for entertainment, and I want to bring it to a deeper discussion going a slightly different direction. So many people on Twitter went to show what they said that got them protested by this individual and usually accepted and suspended by iRacing to a degree, and most of them had swear words in it, and to be honest with you, fine. I have no issue with any of that because iRacing has made it very clear that they do not want swear words, and whether you like that or not, that's what you signed up for. The one that got people really up in arms for though was somebody saying, leave it, they're just a racist troll. And that sentence right there was what got sent in and protested. The individual who protested this pointed to the 2.3.1 clause of the sporting code, which talks about not using foul or disrespectful language. Now, one, that's extremely subjective. And two, I don't know if troll or racist for that matter. I don't think that's what they had a problem with. I think it was troll that they had a problem with. Does troll even count for foul or disrespectful? Well, let's look at the hotkey that used to be in voice chat for every iRacer by default up until earlier this year, which said, "Shut up, you crazy fool." I think that is on the same level as troll. Calling someone a fool, a crazy fool for that matter, and calling someone a troll, maybe it's not completely equal, but they're not on completely different levels. So if I am considering racist troll to be a foul or disrespectful language, wouldn't I also consider what people have been spamming their keybinds for over a decade also against the sporting code? And why would iRacing even enable that in the first place? So I've brought this up before and I'm going to say it again. iRacing gets in a lot of trouble with their community, not for the rules themselves, but the vague way that they state them. If there was a very clear and concise way saying that you cannot target a player with a negative word and you cannot use a swear word, that would be a lot more understandable to me than just saying no foul or disrespectful language and we get to determine what that is. As for the individual who said himself that he keeps a protest spreadsheet with all of his hundreds of protests, I really hope that he's just an elaborate troll. Oh god, I hope I can use that word. Or maybe he sees himself as an iRacing vigilante, cleaning up the filth of text chat and voice chat in the absence of live stewards. But at the end of the day, with anything protest related, I just want to ask, are you making iRacing a better place and a more enjoyable place overall? Because in my opinion, that's what matters. And I say this with full sincerity as someone who has read thousands of YouTube Shorts comments over the past year. You can just turn off voice chat and ignore people. It really isn't that hard, and it'll make you a lot happier. Let me know what you guys think of the Ultimate Daytona Cheese along with the iRacing protesting shenanigans in the comments. I know you'll have a lot to say. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.